Most people believe that if they just do enough manifestation techniques, if they affirm harder, visualize longer, script more, and stay consistent enough, then the person they want will eventually come back. They believe manifestation is a kind of effort game, where more doing equals faster results. So they wake up and start affirming. They go to sleep visualizing. They repeat robotic sentences throughout the day. And in between all of this, they keep checking their phone, wondering if something has changed yet. And when nothing happens immediately, they assume they need to do even more. More techniques, more repetition, more control. But what if this entire belief is the reason nothing is working? What if the problem is not that you are doing too little, but that you are doing all of this from the wrong identity? Because if your actions are coming from the version of you who feels rejected, abandoned, or not chosen, then no matter how many techniques you perform, you are simply reinforcing the state of not having. And that is exactly what keeps your manifestation away. The truth is, manifestation was never meant to feel like a job you have to clock into every day. It was never about forcing yourself to think certain thoughts or repeating words until something outside of you changes. That approach quietly turns manifestation into a chase. And the moment you are chasing, you are automatically placing your desire outside of you. You are saying through your actions that what you want is not yours yet. And that is the state you continue to occupy. Think about it honestly. When you are constantly affirming for someone to text you, what are you really feeling underneath? There is usually a subtle tension, a waiting energy, a sense of, I hope this works. That energy does not come from someone who already has the relationship. That energy comes from someone who is trying to get it. And manifestation does not respond to what you are trying to get. It responds to who you are being. This is where most people miss the point. Techniques are not wrong. Affirmations are not wrong. Visualization is not wrong. But they are being used incorrectly. Instead of using them as a way to gently remind yourself of your new identity, people use them as a tool to force results. And the moment you try to force results, you step into resistance. Because forcing is not trust. Forcing is not embodiment. Forcing is fear disguised as effort. When you truly embody a state, there is a certain calmness to it. There is a naturalness to it. You are not constantly checking for evidence because you already feel like the version of yourself who has what they want. You are not trying to convince yourself every 5 minutes because it feels internally settled. And that is the shift that changes everything. Let's bring this into your situation. You want a specific person to come back, right? Now, your focus is probably on their actions. Whether they will text, call, apologize, or show up differently. And because your focus is there, your energy becomes dependent on what they are doing or not doing. So you try to use techniques to influence them, to move them, to make something happen. But here's the part that can be uncomfortable to hear. As long as you are focused on changing them, you are avoiding becoming the version of yourself who naturally experiences being chosen. You are still operating as the version of you who feels like something is missing. And that version of you can only produce more waiting. When you stop forcing techniques, it does not mean you stop caring about your desire. It does not mean you give up. It means you stop approaching manifestation from lack. You stop using techniques as a way to fix your current reality, and you start using your awareness to shift who you are being. Because the version of you who is already loved, already chosen, already prioritized, does not wake up thinking, I need to affirm all day so they come back. That version of you simply exists in a different internal state. There's a quiet confidence there, a sense of completeness, a feeling that things are already working out. And from that place, your thoughts, your reactions, and even your actions naturally change. This is why people often experience movement when they let go, but they misunderstand what letting go actually means. They think letting go means forgetting about the person or giving up on the desire. But that is not it. Letting go is letting go of the identity that feels like it does not have what it wants. It is releasing the version of you that is constantly trying, chasing, and waiting. When you drop that version, something interesting happens. You stop looking for signs every hour. You stop overanalyzing every little thing. You stop feeling like your entire emotional state depends on whether they reach out or not. And in that space, you become more grounded, more present, and more aligned with the version of yourself who already feels fulfilled. And that is the version of you that naturally experiences movement. Because manifestation is not about making something happen. It is about allowing what already exists in potential to reflect into your reality by matching its state. So instead of asking, how can I make them come back? A much more powerful question becomes, who am I being right now? Are you being the person who feels chosen? Or are you being the person who is trying to become chosen? That difference might sound small, but it changes everything. When you embody the state of being chosen, your inner world shifts first. Your thoughts are not desperate. Your emotions are not unstable. You are not easily triggered by silence or delay. There is a sense of stability within you. And from that state, your outer world begins to reorganize. This is why forcing techniques slows things down. Because forcing keeps you locked in the identity of someone who is waiting for something to happen. And waiting is just another form of not having. You cannot affirm your way out of a state while still emotionally living in it. So what do you actually do? You simplify everything. Instead of doing more, you start becoming more aware. You notice when you are acting from lack. You notice when you are checking your phone with anxiety. You notice when your thoughts are coming from fear or doubt. And in those moments, instead of trying to pile on more techniques, you gently return to the version of yourself who already feels secure. Not by forcing a new thought, but by shifting your focus. Maybe that means taking a break from constant affirmations and just allowing yourself to feel normal again. Maybe it means engaging in your day without mentally revolving everything around this person. Maybe it means reminding yourself that your value, your completeness, and your worth do not depend on their behavior. Because the moment you start grounding yourself in that identity, you naturally stop forcing. And when you stop forcing, you stop interfering. That is when things begin to move. Because your role in manifestation is not to control every step. Your role is to occupy the state. The how is not your job. The timing is not your job. The sequence of events is not your job. And the more you try to control those things, the more you delay them. There's a certain trust that comes with embodiment. Not a blind, naive trust, but a stable knowing that if you are aligned internally, the external must follow. And that knowing removes the urgency. You are no longer in a rush because you are no longer in lack. And ironically, that is when things happen faster. So if you feel exhausted from doing techniques all day, if you feel like you are trying too hard and still not seeing results, take that as a sign. Not that manifestation does not work, but that you have been approaching it from the wrong state. You do not need to do more. You need to be different. You need to shift from the version of you who is trying to get love into the version of you who already feels loved. And once you make that shift, everything else starts to align in ways that feel natural, not forced. Because in the end, they do not come back because you repeated affirmations perfectly. They do not come back because you visualized for a certain number of minutes every day. They come back because you are no longer the same person who was waiting for them. You became someone who no longer needed the validation to feel complete. And that is the version of you that naturally experiences being chosen. I hope this helped you. I will meet you with another golden nugget soon. Happy manifesting.